Hi everyone, my name is Bailey and I'm a seasonal naturalist with Hendricks County Parks and Recreation. Be sure to keep an eye out on our Facebook page and in the Fall 2020 Explorer to stay up to date on what's going on at Hendricks County Parks. Without further ado, our animal of the month this month is the squirrel. Now when you think of squirrels, you probably think of the bushy-tailed gray squirrels, red squirrels, and fox squirrels. This is because these are the squirrels we see most often here in Indiana, but squirrels are found all over the world and they aren't always the same squirrels as we imagine. The squirrel family includes tree squirrels, chipmunks, flying squirrels, and groundhogs, among other rodents. The bushy-tailed squirrels we see almost every day are tree squirrels. There are about 200 species of squirrels worldwide, and because of this, many of them range greatly in size. The world's smallest squirrel is the African pygmy squirrel, which grows only to about 3 to 5 inches long and weighs just 10 grams. For reference, 10 grams is about the weight of 2 US nickels, so this is a very, very tiny squirrel. Now the world's largest known squirrel is the Indian giant squirrel, which grows to 1 meter long and weighs up to 4 pounds. Whereas our tree squirrels that we're familiar with here in Indiana do not usually grow any bigger than 1 foot, and they typically weigh between 3/4 of a pound and 1.5 pounds. Squirrels can be found everywhere in the world except for Australia, Antarctica, and Hawaii. This is because there is too much competition in these areas for squirrels to successfully populate, and aside from the common gray squirrels, red squirrels, and fox squirrels, we also have ground squirrels and flying squirrels here in Indiana. Flying squirrels can typically be found in wooded areas since they prefer to live in trees, and ground squirrels dig tunnel systems and burrow in the ground. Some even hibernate in their burrows in the winter to keep warm. One species of ground squirrel that we have here in Indiana is unfortunately an endangered species. This squirrel species is known as the Franklin's ground squirrel, also called the gray gopher or the whistle pig, and their populations are limited to the northwest corner of Indiana. These squirrels prefer to live in tall grass prairies at the border of grassy areas and woody forests because of the diverse food sources available. They are less social than other squirrel species, and instead of standing on their hind legs when they are alerted like their tree squirrel relatives, they retreat underground to their burrows. This is likely due to the fact that this particular species of ground squirrel only spends about 10% of their time above ground. Now you may find yourself thinking, are you sure we have flying squirrels here in Indiana? I've never seen any. Well, that's because our species of flying squirrel is actually nocturnal, and contrary to the name, these squirrels cannot actually fly. Instead, they use the flaps of skin between their limbs to glide from tree to tree, and these glides are often 150 feet long, but some species can cover 300 feet in one glide. Squirrels usually eat about 1 pound of food per week, and although it may seem like they only eat nuts, squirrels are omnivores, meaning they like to eat both plants and meat. Squirrels primarily eat fungi, seeds, nuts, and fruits, but they will also snack on eggs, small insects, small animals, and even young snakes from time to time. Due to their love of nuts and seeds, it is not uncommon to find squirrels hanging around your bird feeders, and if you want to deter squirrels from stealing your bird seed, try switching to a squirrel-proof bird feeder and watch the magic happen. Squirrels are very smart and adaptable animals. It is in their DNA. Squirrels have 4 front teeth that constantly grow throughout their lives to ensure that their teeth do not grind down from snacking on nuts and other objects. Squirrels also have padded feet that cushions jumps from up to 20 feet long. Their eyes are high up on their head and placed on each side so they do not have to turn their head much to see a large amount of their surroundings. And squirrels can even run up to 20 miles an hour, making it very difficult for predators to catch them due to their small size and quick speed. Tree squirrels like the gray squirrel, the red squirrel, and the fox squirrel are extremely helpful in the repopulation of oak trees. Oftentimes, tree squirrels will collect and bury acorns, but they will forget where they put them. This results in the forgotten acorns becoming oak trees. Squirrels have an extremely positive indirect effect on an ecosystem due to this, as oak trees specifically attract a wide variety of insects, not to mention that squirrels aren't the only animals that love to snack on acorns. Acorns are an extremely important winter food source for deer, fox, turkeys, and a wide variety of native birds. Unsurprisingly, the eastern gray squirrel is the most common squirrel in the US today, but by the mid-19th century, tree squirrels had been nearly eliminated from many US cities. Cities responded by adding more trees, parks, and squirrels. Then, in July of 1856, a crowd gathered in New York's Central Park to marvel at the rare sight of a gray squirrel. The idea of a crowd gathering to see a common gray squirrel today may baffle the mind, but back then it was truly a rare sight. Although squirrels are cute and they most certainly are our friends, we never want to feed them people food. Squirrels are notoriously feisty when it comes to free food, and relying on food from humans can cause an uproar very quickly. When there is enough to go around, they happily share their food, but feeding them or any wildlife is generally a bad idea as it can discourage natural hunting. When COVID-19 hit, national parks and college campuses closed, and squirrels became extremely skinny and angry as they had relied on handouts from visitors as their primary source of food. Then when the people were gone, they experienced an extreme amount of weight loss because they had become adapted to being fed by humans. So, although squirrels are our friends, it is best to appreciate them from a distance rather than directly interacting with them to ensure they keep their wild, squirrely ways. Now that you've learned a thing or two about our squirrely little squirrel friends, be sure to come out to McLeod Nature Park. We have plenty of squirrels here that like to run around the park, and you'll likely see a squirrel or two in our bird viewing area as they love to snack on the bird seeds that the birds drop. Be sure to check our website and our Facebook page for updates and announcements, and if